This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses. When it comes to your mother, you want her sleeping in a comfortable bed. When she's with me, she won't have to worry about that because I sleep on a Novilla mattress. Let me tell you, when your mom is at my place, she is sleeping on a very comfortable mattress and she is going to get you one as well. Meet their Bliss Organic Memory Foam Mattress. Perfect for those who want a cool, dry, undisturbed sleep throughout the night, made with organic bamboo charcoal fiber, excellent motion isolation, cooling gel-infused memory foam that fits all bed frames and is reasonably priced. Perfect for if you want an inexpensive mattress for you, your children, or even for your guest room. It comes in a box delivered right to your door, and you get 100 nights to try it out. Skip that trip to the big box mattress store and get a mattress from Novilla. Throw out that cheap Walmart mattress you got in college and get yourself a mattress made by Novilla. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% on any purchase through Novilla directly. Try out the mattress that your mom tried out last night. Again, that's 10% off using promo code Schweezy. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you want it the most, there's no easy way out. When you're ready to go and your heart's left in doubt, don't give up on your faith, but come to those who believe it, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Hello, and what is going on, my fellow Schwoke Lords? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Cancel Schweezy. Cancel Schweezy, the only show. The Lord's trademark favorite podcast. So let's never forget that. The Lord's trademark favorite podcast is here today.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Welcome to the show today. I'm very happy you've decided to come back to the show today. Anyways, though, so I was the other day I was doing like instrument tryouts. So get a call. My old high school band teacher. Now in high school, I played percussion in the band, and I played guitar in the jazz band. So apparently his percussion person, or whoever it was, or I guess like everyone at the local college, they had like a percussion group performance, so just all of them were not available. And so I just get a call last minute, hey, can you do like instrument tryouts for upcoming 6th graders going into band? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do it. Therapist has been saying I need to, not be home all the time and go out and do something. So thought that was a fair thing. So doing that as well. So we had let me just fix my hair really quick. We had the instrument tryout night. So I get a call like, hey, can you do percussion? I'm like, sure. Let's also remember I've played drums, I play pianos, and I've done some recordings. I think it's mainly with like bells, maybe a marimba a couple times. But I haven't like really done percussion besides like drum set and just a little bit for recording on mallets. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right. Because like first you got to tell them like tell them how to hold the sticks, and then have them tap away, and everything. I'm like, am I using the correct technique? And yeah, so I didn't know that. So, and I haven't really done percussion and stuff like that since spring 2012. So that'll be almost about 11 years at this. Actually, yeah, like 11 years. I think this, because it's May right now.
You bet I'm coming up in May.
So yeah, this would be the 11th anniversary of when I graduated high school. I don't look that old. I'm not even 30 yet. I'm almost 30. Anyways, I do it for the tryouts. I'm like telling kids, I'm like, first of all, I'd be funny if they questioned my ability. Like, you don't even play percussion. I'm like, shut the fuck up, kid. I still have a valid music degree. It's actually valid. I feel like I went to a real college and got a real degree. And for some reason, I feel like I went to like DeVry or something. No offense to you, DeVry people. You're all really cool. You know, like feels like I went to like Greendale Community College. You know, it's like you don't really have like a real degree. Oh, it's like a Bible. It's like going to Bible college. It's basically like a Bible college degree. So now it's fun helping kids out with band shit. The funny thing is, so like this applies more to brass, you know, woodwinds. So like they give you 1 out of 5, and you rank their ability to, like, you know, because if you're a brass instrument, what I've been told is that you have to be able to like buzz into it. Not everyone can do it. I can do it. I also don't play any brass instruments. I just know I can do it. So in another life, euphonium. I always thought if I was gonna play like a woodwind or brass, I would have picked like saxophone. Like, I don't know. I like the jazz. I would probably play like jazz sax or whatever. But, you know, so it's important for them, like, are they able to, like, get a noise coming out of, like, this instrument, which is very important, you know, when learning, so, you know, they'd have to instruct technique like I'm doing, you know, and, but the thing is with percussion, everyone can hold sticks, you know, even if you have one hand, you can still hold this, like, one stick correctly, and everyone can hit shit, you know, so that's fun. I don't know how to rank this, so... I did my best. So, I didn't give a kid under a 3. I never give anyone under a 3 because it was like you handed the paper directly back to the kid, and I'm like, I'm not gonna upset this kid just because they have a hard time holding drum. You know, they have a weird time getting drumstick technique down. Like I don't want to bully a kid. It's like me, like, oh, all right, we're gonna time you right now how fast you can run a mile. Like it's like I would not. The answer would be not very good. The time would not be good. I think in high school I got like 17 minutes on the mile when I walked it, and I was like, I'm not gonna fucking run. And I think that's what would happen if I actually ran it now. That's how I think. I'm dying. No, that was fun, and also with like woodwind instruments and brass instruments, like you have to do is what's the clean shit. I don't know. I think clean's the word. The cooler word for clean. It's deoxify. Something along the lines of cleaned and disinfect. That's the word. Disinfect. We figured out the word. Yeah, so they had to disinfect. So, and then they put me near the entrance. Well, there was 2 entrances, but I was the one. I was the entrance near the parking lot. So there's the bus drop off in the parking lot one, and so everyone came to me first, and I didn't have to disinfect anything after kids picking up sticks or whatever. I'm like, just wash your hands or some shit. I don't know. So just very cool stuff. Really, really cool. The coolest thing you'll ever know. So that's cool. But anyways, though, welcome to Cancel Schweezy, the only podcast wishing your mom a happy Mother's Day, because we know any woman can be a mother, but it takes a true woman to be a mommy. So I'm actually recording this on Mother's Day to you when it comes out. Happy belated Mother's Day to your mom. I'm wishing everyone's mother a happy Mother's Day. I'm like, if you're a mom, you're not who I'm talking to. It's everyone's mother. Okay, it's like you. See, that's my feeling. You can't celebrate yourself on Mother's Day, which I feel like is a thing. And also, Mother's Day is kind of a selfish holiday. You know, it's like, all right, so you as a woman had the audacity to let a man nut inside you. Not only be inside you, like, he not only was inside you, he nutted inside you, and that's crazy. Nutted inside you, then you force someone to exist, and then one day you're like, all right, you worship me, you appreciate me today. I'm like, appreciate you for what? Not killing me, making me survive. Anyways, though, so children, you're the reason for the season, so celebrate your children on Mother's Day. Mothers, this should just be called, they should have Children's Day. No Father's Day, no Mother's Day, just Children's Day. Where shitty people, where parents have to appreciate their children. I feel like that's a better use because earning respect, you earn respect, as a parent, and shit like that. But when your kids are adults and shit like that, I don't know. Food for thought.
Feel like a woman, a real woman.
Make your mother feel like a woman this Mother's Day. Oh! Anyways, though, you're not special for letting someone nut inside you. Hard facts. Hard facts of life, right there. You're not special for letting someone nut inside you. I mean, you don't I need to be in line first at the to get coffee because I have children. I'm like, you chose that. You chose children. You chose to keep them alive too. Which choosing to keep them alive is good, but choosing to have them, it's up to you in the first place. Like didn't think I'd get pregnant. What you're telling me? You're not on no birth control. You didn't have a condom on, and you got pregnant. Okay. Anyways, that's a weird rant. Check out my music on social media. Check out my music on social media. Check out my music wherever you stream your music at. You all know what streaming services is. I should be on it. We also have our social media at TheSchweezy. Make sure you go checking that out. Twitch.tv/TheSchweezy as well. I'm playing Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And I gotta say, playing this game, I'm 5 minutes into the game. I'm 5 minutes into this shit. And I'm like, I know this is now going to take a significant amount of my time. Like, it's going to take a significant amount of my time for the next couple months. I'm like, I know I'm going to be playing this game a lot. I'm like, I was going to stream again tonight. I had a surprise stream last Saturday. And technical difficulties, those kicked my ass. So sorry for anyone who even tried to watch that. But no, I almost did it today too, because that was yesterday to me, but last Saturday to you, Last Saturday to you. And yeah, I know this is gonna waste a lot of my life. So go check me out over on Twitch, people. That's cool. Patreon page is also a great way to say thank you for being a friend, to travel down this road and back again. If your art is true, you're a pal and a confidant. That's great. It's a great way to financially support us. Helps me with this show, helps me do what I do, even helps with my music and food and love and kindness. And so that's the way it is. But make sure you do all the free shit, like if you're on an audio-only platform. Make sure you check out our YouTube page and you're subscribed over there, and you can share highlights of the part of the show that you liked with your friends, because it's going to be in the highlights. So,
Cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
And, yeah. And make sure you subscribe, leave us a review, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 star rating. Like us, leave comments. I love reading the comments because the comments are actually what help us. Speaking of comments, I got one from last week's episode. We talked about how the writers union, the writers guild strike is going on right now, and I'm like, there's so many wannabe writers in Hollywood. Like, why don't they just use scabs? And I said something along the lines of no one wants to work with scabs, because eventually this is going to be resolved, because the goats of writing are part of this union, and so they're a part of it as well. And then I got a comment here. That's what I was saying. No one wants to work with scabs, so even when it's over, no one wants. Here's a better thing. Someone named Dark Phoenix. So hello, Dark Phoenix. I wonder what type of name what country that name's from. In 2007, some scabs saw the strike as a way in, but afterwards, no fellow writers would work with them, eventually making it so they can never find work as a writer for undermining their union strike. So I think that's how I wanted to describe it, and I don't think I went with my words, and that's why I was trying to remember the more specifics of the last writer's strike and how that kind of worked in Hollywood's favor, So that's cool. That's cool. That's super cool. Yeah. I don't know, my hair's going to be weird this episode, so that's something to be excited about. That's something to be excited about. when podcasts were just audio. I know, like, your other friend's shitty podcast is audio, but, like, every podcast, like, I know that's even big, like, for the most part, are all video, too, you know? So, yeah, I know your people are like, who cares about your fucking hair? I'm just listening to the show. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I identify as a fucking threat.
All right, anyways, let's move into previous week right now. What is previous week right now, you may be asking? Well, it's last week's news right now. So,
let's just jump into it.
Okay. Time for going to even more segment within a segment we like to call
Cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
All right, this is where we talk about Garth Brooks and the weirdest fucking shit that he keeps doing in his life. I don't know why he keeps doing shit. And every time, like, I will always find news. I will always find news about G. All right, this is from Fox 17, West Michigan.
What?
Garth Brooks has a no phone policy at his new Vegas show. Fans of Garth Brooks won't get to snap their own pictures of the country music superstar during his new show in Las Vegas. The Garth Brooks +1 residency at Caesar's Palace is a phone-free experience, according to Ticketmaster. When a person arrives at a show, their ticket will be scanned and they will have to place their phones in a yonder case. Guests maintain possession of their phones at all times and can access their phones throughout the show at designated phone use areas in the venue. Ticketmaster says there will be areas in the venue where people can use their phones, but they must be relocked inside the case before they return to the performance space. Anyone caught using a cell phone during the performance will be removed from the venue, Ticketmaster says. For those who want pictures to document their experience, Ticketmaster says guests will receive a free QR code that provides them with professional photos from the show. Yonder cases are not new. They are used in various settings across the country, including at schools, courthouses, and entertainment venues. The Garth Brooks +1 residency kicks off on May 18th. The country singer has concert dates scheduled through December. So, all right. So, locking your phone up, you know, I know a lot of comedians do that. Dave Chappelle, I think, is very well known for doing that shit. He's like, yeah, Dave Chappelle does not want his shit recorded and, like, uploaded. And comedians are very anal about that because a lot of times, like, to even, like, practice being a comedian, you have to have a crowd. So, when they sometimes, like, they'll go to, like, the Comedy Store or whatever other 1,000 comedy venues there are. I just know the Comedy Store. Was it Comedy Mothership in Austin? So yeah, a lot of comedians do that because sometimes they do workout sets or whatever, and if, like, a joke doesn't land really well, they don't want that shit going out there because usually don't put your worst shit out to the world on the internet. You put your best. And so, yeah, so comedians do that all the time. I've never heard of it done for musicians. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. You're just used to people filming on their phone, or, you know, I'm going to post on Snapchat that I'm at a concert right now, and I'm going to film the entire concert for you to watch on Snapchat, because that's how the writers of this music that person's listening to wants it to be distributed through your cell phone, through your iPhone 10, from your iPhone 10 to Snapchat, through Snapchat filters too, to everyone. That's how musicians want you to hear their music. And I don't know. So I don't know. We're just all used to it, you know. Musicians are used to it. And sometimes, you know, people taking pictures of us being cool, that means it's something sexy going on, you know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I've never heard for this. So, like, the idea I would say of why a musician would do this at a show is, like, I guess they don't want, because this is a concert experience, I guess Garth Brooks has, that he doesn't want ruined from, like, he doesn't want to be viewed from, like, phone footage, I guess. So if it ever is going to be a video, they're probably going to plan some sort of like a filming experience, like the kind of like they did Hamilton, get some close-ups on G, you know, and stuff like that. So I think that's probably a good case for it. And I think I do know a lot of Las Vegas shows probably do this as well. You have to put your phone in a case, I don't think that's anything new there. I don't know. I've just never heard it with music before, so I think Garth Brooks maybe making like a big music special or whatever. Or we could go to the dark side of all this and realize that the reason why Garth doesn't want any phones out is because people are dying, and we're not going to have any proof that person exists. They get rid of the body, get rid of the phone, no evidence. They want zero evidence that they were at the show. And, maybe if someone dies, we're going to make sure there's zero evidence. The next logic would be so if Garth's going to be some people are going to start disappearing at the show. If we take away someone's phone, the thing is, what I've learned from watching the television show You, and not real things, that what Joe Goldberg would do is he would have someone's phone and then like contact their friends, their regular people they contact and stuff like that. And just like, nah, I'm out of town. I'm still out of town or whatever. And then eventually things will fizzle out and they kind of like disappear. They don't hear from them. He's like, yeah, last we heard they were there. And then, one day he stopped talking to us or whatever. And, slowly fade out, Very, very weird. So that is some very weird shit. So, and, Garth can take their phone and has it in a bag and they're all ready. Creepy fucking stuff. And it's like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's like, stand up for mankind. OG. All the greatest singer in the world. You retired for 14 years, you came back and everyone was queer, but they still said, hey, Garth Brooks, we want to hear you. OG. Okay, we're going to stop that. Oh, here's some news. It's coming from BBC News, not Big Black Cock News. It is not Big Black Cock News. We are not going to read an article from a website called Big Black Cock News. Okay? You got that? You understand now? We're not going to do that shit. You understand? From the British Broadcasting Company, Loch Ness Hunter, in his quote, I thought this job would be easier.
What?
Steve Feltham has dedicated his life to solving the mysteries of the Loch Ness Monster. He gave up his job and sold his home in Dorset to move to Doris on the shores of the Loch in 1991. Now, after more than 30 years of searching for Nessie, he said he thought the task would have been easier. Mr. Feltham made his first sighting of something unexplained within his first year of his search and had hoped to make further sightings soon after. He told BBC Radio's Good Morning Scotland program, I had one glimpse. Hey, I had one glimpse of something like a torpedo going through the water. I don't even know what accent that is. I did the good job going to the easier, as I had sightings in first year and I thought it wouldn't be long until a second sighting come along. So other people say every answer for now, I don't know, I guess something got misspelled, but like things that people assume the Loch Ness Monster is, if not. Questions. Loch Ness Monster may be a giant eel, scientists say. Is Nessie just a tourist conspiracy? Good question. Warning over storm Loch Ness Monster hunt? Or what happens if Nessie is found? That's a good question. I guess there'd be people to watch over the lake. I guess they'd just be like, hey, don't kill the giant thing in the water. Mr. Feldham added, and that is where I'm stopped at the moment, still waiting for the second glimpse of something unexplained. Because I am here full-time, I speak to hundreds of people who do report something that we can't identify. Mr. Feltham's dedication to his search saw him named Ambassador of the Year at the 2016 Highlands and Islands Tourism Awards. He had previously been recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest continuous vigil hunting for the Loch Ness Monster. The Nessie's Hunter continuing efforts come 90 years after what is described as the first modern sighting of a monster. So I have a good story for everyone to go through today. So when I was a kid, I wasn't this. This was one of those I didn't know any better type of situations. And you're like, what does this have to do with the Loch Ness Monster? All right. So I guess we talked about it. Maybe I was in like second grade. Maybe we talked about it at school. About like the Loch Ness Monster, just so most people say it's fake or whatever, but it's a very big legend in Scotland. But anyways, though, and then there was there's the one infamous picture that's in black and white. It's like this is the only picture we have of the Loch Ness Monster, like until like someone has another sighting again and gets it with like a good camera. Like this is the best photo we have so far, and then people just try to say if it's real or not, yada yada yada. Well, in my little second grade mind, I had the idea. Why not take a picture of the Loch Ness Monster with a color camera? Okay, I didn't know. That's not because no one's owned a colored camera, a camera with color. This is the time of disposable cameras. Okay, so where like you could have a business printing photos and shit like that. You don't just like go to Walmart or whatever you do now. I was like, and I in the little grocery store in the small Kansas town had disposable cameras, and it was like takes color photos. I'm like, you see here, if I'll just take this, if I go to Loch Ness, I'll just take a picture of this bad boy. Take a picture. I'll make sure to bring this camera with me. That way I can take a color photo since no one else has a color camera. I'm like, I don't know how I came up with that logic. I remember growing up and realizing it's like, oh, I don't know when the two things connected. I was like, oh, it's not because no one had a colored camera. It's because no one's had a camera and saw it at the same time. Anyway, so yeah. But do I believe in the Loch Ness Monster? Cryptids, for the most part. Mothman's a little out there, okay? But like if it's like a type of animal, like more than likely, I think if we find like a Sasquatch or whatever, in the United States, Sasquatch I feel like is the biggest one. If we do find Sasquatch, it's just gonna be like a monkey type animal that's very, like it's just like it'd be a monkey-ish type species that probably lives underground for the most part in like weird systems or whatever, in the dark, but can come outside every once in a while, but it's not comfortable, but that's what I would think. The Loch Ness Monster, I'm like, yeah, look in there, like, it could be an eel type creature, crazier things have happened, and like, speaking of how big Loch Ness is, it's pretty fucking big. And, when things are big like that, if you drive like in the middle of nowhere and there's like a million, like you drive through the Smoky Mountains and you're just like, yeah, Bigfoot could probably be out there somewhere. Like, yeah, like I'm not even counting it out. I just don't know like how good of proof we have on it, shit like that. So that's cool. Cool and rad. All right, last article we got here. This is from NPR. Single screenwriters hope to strike up a romance on the picket lines. TV and film writers are on their second week of striking against major Hollywood studios. Their picket lines have featured more than just protest chants. This week, the lead singer and guitarist of the band Imagine Dragons, imagine dragging these nuts across your face. God. Entertained writers striking outside Netflix headquarters in LA, where actor Pete Davidson brought them boxes of pizza. There were celebrity sightings at picket lines in Los Angeles and New York. Rob Lowe, Tina Fey, Mindy Kaling, Jason Sudeikis, and Brett Goldstein showed up to support the cause. And outside Universal Studios on Wednesday, hundreds of riders waved picket signs and flirted during a singles meetup event called Strike Up a Romance. This would be the perfect time to write a rom-com. Love on the picket line, quipped Alex Bloom. Before the strike, she was writing for the comedy series The Pradeeps of Pittsburgh. Actually, it was just dumped 3 weeks ago by my boyfriend. Yes, he randomly dumped me. Then my career randomly dumped me, she said. So now I'm using all that energy to strike for what we deserve. The Writers Guild of America began striking on May 2nd after contract negotiations with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers broke down. Writers are demanding higher wages and more residuals, especially when their work repeats on streaming services. They also want guaranteed staffing sizes for writers' rooms, and they want to regulate the use of artificial intelligence in creating content. At the event outside Universal Studios, Haley Boston carried a sign that read, "Single and ready to be paid fairly." Until the strike, she had been developing a horror show for Netflix, and something very bad is going to happen. Now she's hoping something very good comes out of the protest. People often caution you against dating another writer, Boston said, but I think it's bleak times out there, so I would love to find someone who's in the same boat as me. The event organizers, who are members of the WGA, said the work stoppage means writers can no longer say they're too busy to date. They offered strikers breath mints and advice from a professional matchmaker who's also a TV writer. Among those out protesting the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers was Augustus Schiff. Augustus Schiff, who wrote that's a real name, and who wrote the animated sitcom Big Mouth. Okay. I've been single for 4 years, so I'm thinking it'd be a very nice side effect of being out here and expressing my distaste for the AMPTP's deal, he said. I'm just expecting Jew, he said. While Julie Greiner was also there, and her friend Amelia Ellisdale, both of them writers for Stephen Colbert Presents Tuning Out of the News, I asked if they'd heard any good picket line pickup lines. Okay. Ooh, you know what? I hope that someone will approach me with that, said Greiner. I feel like that's kind of the idea. Ellisdale, Elizold said that so far she just noticed a lot of lingering looks, loaded glances for now. It's very Pride and Prejudice. Some of the writers said they were inspired by one couple protesting with them outside Universal Studios during the last writer's strike in 2007. Hunter Covington organized a singles event on the picket line in front of Fox Studios. That's where he met Stacey Traub. I was on a show called Notes from the Underbelly, said Traub. I was on a show called My Name is Earl, said Covington. We were both comedy writers. We were both on strike, she said. We bonded about some funny things you hear in the writer's room, he added. We got each other. Covington and Traub both became showrunners, raising their 4 children. They celebrated their 10-year wedding anniversary last Friday by picketing once again. They went back to their spot. Matt gave a speech, blah, blah. The upside is like, okay, I'm done. I'm done reading that. All right. It's like, there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, but also at the same time, I'm just thinking, there's someone that's like, all right, I'm not working, I'm on strike until my union and this other company make a deal, okay? Till then, I'm out of a job. If you're unemployed, like, find other unemployed people and just fuck each other, That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, it's just like you have two different types of, two single unemployed people. Like, they should just fuck each other. Like, great way to pass the time. You also have, I don't know if this would be a good movie. This would be like a movie written by writers for writers. I feel like that's what this is about. But, it is what it is. And you know what? I'll say it. I'll say it right now. It's okay. Hopefully the writers strike. 'Cause, I want the writers to be paid fairly, but also, like, want to have things to enjoy too. Sometimes, like, life gets so sad and all you have to enjoy is, like, what's on TV. It's like, damn it, and I hear things get delayed. Like, I know they're going to make a better product, but, like, at the same time, I wanted to watch that show, though. I wanted to watch the show. So, have you ever been out in public and thought, hey, look at that fat guy, only for it to turn out to be a mirror and you are in fact the fat guy? That was the moment that kickstarted me into becoming the greatest health expert the world has ever seen. But I wasn't born being built different. Like Joe Cocker before me, I get by with a little help from my friends. And my friends happen to be today's sponsor, FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. I also really enjoy their clothing line that makes you look good while you work out as well. Another thing I love about FNX Fitness is that with every purchase, they donate a gallon of water to a child in need. Start working out smarter, not harder, by using the link in our description today. You can save 15% on your purchase. Go save 15% on some of the best supplements out there when using the link in our description. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you're at the beach, you aren't going there naked, letting everyone see your little shrunken PP from being in the water. No, you're wearing some sort of clothing to cover up your privates. So why would you let companies you buy products from have access to the privates of your credit cards? That's where today's sponsor, Privacy, becomes the clothing for your credit card information. Privacy is the first payment product that keeps your personal information private while being even more convenient than using a physical payment card online. Privacy empowers you to protect your physical card information. Each merchant you share your card information with puts you more at risk to hackers or data breaches. Why not use a privacy card instead? By creating a virtual card with privacy for each merchant you shop with, your physical card is safe and secure. Privacy cards can be paused or closed at any time, preventing any future transactions from being authorized. Privacy cards can also be single use, meaning they close after just one authorized transaction. One of my favorite ways to use privacy is for a service with a free trial that requires you to put in a credit card to sign up. But wait, there's more. By using the link in our description, you can get $5 to spend anywhere. That's money you get to use. So start paying the smart way with Privacy. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show.
You bet I'm coming up in May.
Oh, you bet. So I've been watching, I've been kind of browsing over what Peacock has been doing, Been looking over there on the Peacock app, They have that 70 show on there. They have Peacock's, they're The Office, so, and I get it free with my phone, so therefore, I had to go ahead and pick that up. I found a fun little thing, just fun. I've been fun, and they have a bunch of random movies. I feel like they were little indie films, but they're getting little indie films, but they're kind of fun. I found a movie called YouthMin, a mockumentary, and for those of you who know me, knew I grew up in church and was very much traumatized by it and by multiple other things. But yeah, I was traumatized by Christianity, and all of it's bad. But anyways, though, so since Peacock's been stepping up their game, and I'm into ex-evangelical humor, and that had that written all over it, and that stuff does well on the show too. I wanted to watch it and discuss it all over this show. So, here's what Rotten Tomatoes gives it as a biography.
What?
David Bauer, a young, energetic youth pastor, has the greatest job in the world, and he can't wait to bring his youth group to Bible camp to win the esteemed camp competitions. His plans are jeopardized by the arrival of an unexpected new coworker, intense competition, and surly teenage rebellion. David will let nothing stop him from showing everyone that his youth group is the most godly. So, it's just good. I fucking love this shit. I love this thing. It was so fun. Such a fun watch, in my opinion, for you to be aware of. But basically, if you want to sum it up, it's if Michael Scott was a youth pastor. And I bet a lot of you who are checking this out right now have also been around a youth pastor. Hell, some of you may have been youth pastors. My Aunt Judy thinks I should have became a youth pastor. The fact that at one time in my life, that was me. And I was like working at camps, like working with high school kids, you know. At one point, that was me. At one point, you know, that was me. And, but no, this guy, dude, it's basically if Michael Scott was a youth pastor. He's like, he has the fucking soul patch, which my friend Josh Casey, author of Tracking Desire, A Journey After Swallowtail Kites, he claims he never had a soul patch, but I know I've seen a picture of him with the soul patch, and I'm like still holding on and looking through photos every once in a while to see if I can find the photo of the soul patch, unless he's already deleted it. In that case, we have a bigger conspiracy. We got a bigger conspiracy going on here that I don't think I'm going to be able to handle.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But yeah, and so it's like, and it's also like, you know, we talk about it's like Michael Scott as a youth pastor, but it's also like the stereotypical youth pastor. And like I've been at camps with guys in Bible college. They're like from the college to come to Bible camps for recruitment, and they're like future youth pastors, and they all have that goddamn same energy. The same goddamn energy. Is how's it going? Huh? You like sports? Huh? Yeah. Good arm. Yeah, I could have gone pro. Yeah, you know. But I decided to be youth pastor instead. Very cool stuff, you know. It's like, ugh, yeah, sunglasses. They have sunglasses, shirts. Every day they wear a shirt of their school to let kids know, hey, you should come to our school and join ministry. It's not a money thing. It's definitely not a money thing. It's definitely not because of money. But anyways, though, like youth pastors, like they have the same energy, and it's the best way I can describe it. I think here I can say this is the best analogy I'll ever make. A stereotypical youth pastor to someone who's never doesn't understand a stereotypical youth pastor, Spencer from iCarly. Spencer from iCarly, that is youth pastor energy times 1,000, and I cannot like explain any more that Spencer from iCarly, Spencer Shea, he is basically the stereotypical youth pastor. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about myself. Everyone, do we have a round of applause now? Next best thing. So yeah. So the real conflict starts at the beginning of this movie, and there's a lot of things we can say as like a church people like about the first conflict of the movie. So the church is like, hey, we want to put more funding into the head pastor. Also, like, we're talking about white people churches, and so black people, it's different. It's gonna be a little different. But this church had a black pastor. It was a white people church, but it had a black pastor. But you know, can happen. It's just, you know, a little weird. But I digress. We're gonna keep moving forward. But they're like, hey, we're gonna go. So we brought you another person to work with you. This is Pastor Jill. And so he's like, okay, I have a new partner. And even that, just keeping that plot thread intact, perfect. Like, that's a good, like, oh, he has a new coworker. She's just like kind of a normal person. And then he's a goofy goofball. You know, you put those two together. Like, it's tried and true method of good, like, characters working off each other. It's just straight guy, goofy guy, you know? It's just how it is. But yeah, so just that could have been good. But it turns out Pastor Jill is pregnant. Okay, not a big deal. Her and her husband are expecting a new baby, and that's kind of might be a stressful time even switching jobs. Yeah, we're only engaged. I'm not married. We're not married yet. but she's pregnant with his baby, and they're unmarried, so they had premarital sex. They were dirty and need to be. Jesus can only wash you so much. Jesus will only be able to wash you so much of your sin, of your premarital sex. That premarital sex stains you, but your other sins can be washed clean by God. So don't worry about that. It's just the sex stuff. God will forgive your sins, but he will not forget all the freaky sex stuff you did unmarried. So,
That's rough, buddy.
And so yeah, but so very weird the church hired her, but still, I think Jill was a pastor somewhere else, and I don't think they explain it in the movie, but they kind of do. She says she got fired for being pregnant, so I'm assuming it's from another church for being pregnant, which usually if you fire someone because they got pregnant, that's against the law, but it's different in churches, so I don't know. It's also a movie, so I also don't want to forget that. So she's pregnant, and then they decide to go to camp, and like Pastor David, he's like uncomfortable with her because of it, and instead of being normal and getting over it or whatever, or talking to her about it, he just freaks out in other ways. It's so yeah, so goofy and a little goofball. So, like, he introduces the kids, and he already thinks they like her more than him, which is crazy because I don't think any of the kids like him. They just go to youth group. I think it's just because they want to. They like youth group, and Pastor David's weird. So they take him to camp, and all the camp shenanigans happened. But before that, like, the kids in the youth group are also just fucking great in this movie because they're like every stereotype of a youth group. Like, every stereotype's there. Like a goth emo chick, but doesn't seem like she'd be interested, usually in like singing, she doesn't care or anything, but she's generally like a Christian, shit like that. She doesn't look like in participating in shit and dumb camp things, that kid's there. There's like all the sheltered kids are there. Then there's like the public school kids, but they're dumb, but they're still kind of Christian, and other just nerd kids at the school who go to youth group. So that always made me fucking laugh. I need to take a drink. Now there's one scene that was gonna be a bigger deal. It was not as big of a deal as I thought it would be. Basically, one of like the public school kids in the group was teaching, like, basically they don't say they're homeschooled, but they're homeschooled. Like, we know they're homeschooled. Don't arrest me. Like, about like pantsing people, and I think they're calling it pranks or whatever. And then, like, what he does to one of the kids is he goes up to the front of him and pulls the pants down, which no one does. Usually do a sneak attack and pants him from there, but he did it from the front. And Pastor David walked in at that very moment, and he thought it was giving like a blowjob, and no, they had to like explain it, and I thought it was gonna be a bigger deal. It didn't. Oh my god, it was so fucking awkward. And then so Pastor David sat down with the weird homeschool kid, like he was sheltered. He's like, I saw you giving, I can't remember the other kid's name, a blowjob. It's like, oh, you did? And then like he goes along with, he thinks blowjob is pantsing someone. So now they're just like, yeah, I heard that he gave you a blowjob last year. And shit like that. And he's like, no student gave me a blowjob last year. He's just like, no for like, hey, I didn't do it, and also no, like, I could get fired if someone thinks that. All at the same time, it's like both those panics at once, because now I'm not gonna get into that. I was be like, one, yeah, no, I'm not gonna get into it. But anyways, it was funny. He's like, wait, what do you think they eventually, after a million back and forth, like, oh yeah, everyone's giving everyone blowjobs here. He's like, yeah, he thought blowjobs were pranks. I'm like, that's where they really took a stretch there, but it was still pretty funny though. Like, it made a really funny scene. It's just like, Yeah, I gave him a blowjob. It's like, totally. Yeah, I gave a lot of people here. I heard he gave blowjobs to you last year. No, they didn't. Okay. So I just love, I'm like, I thought they were going to be really, I'm surprised though about it because I thought they were going to be really into like it's a sin to be gay and shit like that, you know, talking about that. They didn't have that talk. They subtly avoided it when you thought it almost came up because you thought, hey, like, oh my gosh, two boys are gay because like there's a reason why the boys and the girls don't sleep in the same cabin. But then you had like a gay, and you had a gay to the situation. Things can get pretty awkward. So yeah, but they somehow didn't say anything like being gay is a sin. So being gay is not a sin from the movie YouthMin. That's good. So I don't think everyone would probably enjoy this film.
What?
I would probably say like people who grew up in church and grew up, especially people who grew up going to like church camps or Bible camps. I grew up going to a church camp, and like some of my best friends today like are people I went to church camp with. So like I say, it's affected my life. So like everything's funny here, like the competitions and how serious people fucking get at that shit, you know. That camp looked nicer than the one I went to, but the one I went to was a lot of fun though. Like we always knew how to have fun there, so that was fun too. But yeah. Anyways, though, go watch that. It's on Peacock. YouthMin. Okay, I saw this article at the last minute and decided to go over it as a family. So I can pull the iPad up on the screen here once I click here. And now the screen has changed, and I am in the background. So this is BuzzFeed. That's where I went to. Bad person examples. 17 signs of a terrible person. So I've met a lot of terrible people in my day, and you realize that. I've definitely realized that, you know, because I want to show kindness to people and be nice to people, but at the same time, like, people take advantage of my kindness, and I act like a dick on this show, but in real life, I'm sometimes nice to you. Anyways, though, let's get into it. We're into it. Let's go look into the BuzzFeed. Well, there's no such thing as a perfect person. There are some individuals who choose to live life as more or less of an antithesis of that. So when Reddit user, you don't get all mad, asked, what screams I'm a terrible person? Thousands of people responded, here's some why. So we're really just going to Reddit. We're just taking extra steps back to Reddit. Here, all right. Making your children upset in order to record it and post it for internet points. Yeah, and even then, I think it's okay to post pictures of your children online. You know, like normal pictures you should post of your children online. I always get weird when like they want to post bath photos or like their newborn naked photos. I'm like, I don't even know. You know, if I don't want anyone seeing my child's naked body except for like me and the mom, you know, if I have to. Not a lot of people remembering that, and it should just be ingrained in your mind after that. Yeah, but don't be like a dick to your children. Don't even only post nice things about them on social media. That way other people get jealous of them. That's how you do it. People who treat servers, rideshare drivers, and convenience storage clerks disrespectfully. Character is how you treat the people you'll never see again. Yeah, I never got why people, you know, when you just meet someone, like, you don't know if they're a dick or not, like, just be, like, neutral towards them. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day, you know, or be friendly and nice. Don't be like those bartenders where it's like, is she in love with you or is she just a bartender doing her job? You know, don't be that. But find your place in the middle, I think. Put you in the middle. I think that's a good spot. Minimizing other people's experiences or pains because it doesn't match your experience. I feel like everyone has this in certain areas where they refuse to understand it because it's never happened to them. It's specific situations, and I feel like everyone has a little bit of a blind spot there on, on that, like, I'll refuse to understand because it's not a problem I have or I've ever dealt with, like, it was like me and my dad. I'm like, because he's always able to fall asleep in like 2 minutes and I like struggle to fall asleep. I feel like all of my problems relate to that, can like be summed up to that or something like that. But, yeah, but like, I was telling my dad, how do you fall asleep really fast? Oh, I just go to sleep. Like, that's not, you can't, I was like, I just fall asleep. He's like, how to go to bed? Dad, how do you think I would be able to go to bed earlier? Oh, you go to bed earlier. Like, he would literally, that would be how he did. I'm like, that's not an answer. That's answering the question with the question. How do I do that? How do I do this? You do this. Like, and that's not how you answer the goddamn question. So yeah, that's how Tales of My Father. Number 4, when someone complains about everyone else behind their backs. Yeah, but I also think, like, I know my friends talk about me behind my back, and we all talk about them. There's a difference between talking about it or gossiping, because gossiping, I think, is where things can get really bad. And so it's like, I don't like. Do you tell your mom personal things? I'm like, no. And you're like, why not? I'm like, she cannot keep a secret to save her life. And I bet if I told her that, I haven't told her that. I don't think I've ever told her that. But if I told her that, she'd be like, nuh-uh, I can keep a secret. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't think anything I've ever told you has remained between us. And yeah, so yeah, just don't, that's something to realize too with friends. Like, if they gossip a lot about other people, like they're talking about you too. And so, gossip is fun to an extent, but like when it's like hurting your friends, it's better when you hear someone else's tea. That's how it is. Being a habitual litterer. I don't know why people still litter. We've put trash cans about everywhere at this point, so I don't even know why littering is still a problem. People just throw your goddamn trash away, and yeah, and stop smoking. Stop fucking smoking and driving. Flick your little fucking bud off on the fucking road. It makes me scared it's gonna blow up my car and die. Okay, it's my anxiety there, so don't do that. Don't do that ever again. When the default coping mechanism is to manipulate or abuse other people. Sounds like my brother. And therefore, we're going to move on forward, so I don't have to talk about that. Refusing to wear headphones. I'm like, oh my God. Boomers do this too. A lot of boomers do this. Like, they won't wear put on headphones or whatever. Like, my mom didn't even realize, like, her phone had, like, a headphone jack. Like they stopped putting headphone jacks in phones, and my mom has one. They're like, I didn't even realize they took it away. I'm like, yeah, they don't. I don't put them in phones anymore. It was like, oh, I guess I've never listened to music on my phone. I'm like, yeah, I know, out loud. And like, I hear like conversations she has with other people her age on Zoom, and they'll all be speaking so loud because they can't hear because they refuse to use headphones. God, ugh, yeah, that's so fucking annoying. Not accepting mistakes as mistakes. Just say I fucked up. As mistakes. Just say I fucked up. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think about it. Not accepting mistakes as mistakes. Just say I fucked up. Okay, they refuse to say they're wrong. Yeah, no, plenty of those type of people, and yeah, and I'm probably one of those people. I'm probably one of those people too. But like, I'm okay with apologizing. But if I know I'm right, I'm not gonna like apologize. I'm sorry, I'm right. Like, that's why I don't. That's why I'm not married, folks. That's gonna be the reason. You figured it out. Dun 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 dun. In my opinion, cheating on your significant other is one of the highest levels of betrayal a person can do to another. Assuming they're not poly or or swingers, and they're not both kind of consenting to everything. Yeah, there's like guys. I remember seeing some dude posted Facebook like about his ex-wife, and he couldn't stop cheating on her or some shit like that. And she was like, if you cheat on me again, it's over between us. And like he's like, I just couldn't stop myself from doing it. And I'm like, you have opportunities, but you always have an opportunity to say no. And to sex, like, because it's like there's a difference between cheating and getting raped, shit like that. So yeah, that's cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff. No one should have to tell you that they are a good person. Usually I would consider that to be a sign that they are, in fact, not a good person. It's like, I'm not racist, but you can just say it and be like, but I'm not racist. Sometimes people just know it's a joke, or you really feel that way. So, there's like levels of racism. Like, you don't hate their existence, but like they do. Those people do this. We're not solving anything today on this podcast. Not cleaning up your dog's shit on the street. Okay. I've walked dogs and I've not picked up shit. Just I don't want to pick up dog poop. I've let dogs poop in weird places. Yeah. What's the lesson here? Little dogs, okay. Big dogs, you gotta pick up that shit, dude. Like, that's too much poo. That's a lot of poo. So you gotta remember that. That's how I solved it. There we go. 12. Things like letting their roommates do all their dishes and pay all the bills, getting their partner to do the majority of the housework, and when someone is witnessing them or slinking around or helping, acting as if they care about only when someone is witnessing them, being kind only when others are watching, being cruel when others are not watching, forgetting things that don't fit in the narrative, manipulative, cultivated. I'm like, okay, you whoever wrote this one seriously has someone they're specifically upset with. And you two may need to work that out, or get high and forget about it. Get a drink and forget about it, If you're a boss and you know for certain that your place is about to close up and you don't tell your crew so they can start looking for a new paycheck, absolute fucking scum. Okay, sounds like you had a boss who knew his place was going to close and didn't tell anyone it's about to close. So, like, the crew just all lost a job. And, that's a rough story. Saying that's a you problem after causing the problem for someone else. That's my goddamn brother. Is my brother a terrible person? The answer is yes. I think he is a terrible person. Yeah. It's like, now that's your making the idea of making it some. If you have to take a shit and you're in the airport, you're making that someone else's problem. It's like bringing fish into the workplace and reheating it. Like, you're making that someone else's problem, and it's not a good thing to make it someone else's problem. Now that's your problem. 15, people who care more about being right than anything else. People who lie to seem better than other people. Like, people say this about me, and I'm going to tell you, I'm always right, and I don't lie. My truth is the truth. I'm like a movie hero character. One day it comes back, and it's like I say something for a setup, and then how manifestation works. We're going to talk about manifestation later in the podcast. Is that you manifest it and then it happens. So I want foreshadowing in my life. So I make it happen. And I think this is the last one. Bullying others, whether you see it as a joke or not, you're still annoying someone else, and that's wrong. So get the fuck away from my table and stay at least 6 feet away from me, Simon. Simon probably comes from a bad home, so for the original writer, I would say Simon's probably from a bad home. And yeah, bullying others. There's like real bullying, and then there's like cyberbullying's there too, you know. But then there's like your friends picking on each other. Like, you know, I feel like good friends pick on each other. I think that's just how it is. You know, that's how you make it work, and that's how you make it feel. So, rock and roll ain't dead, I guess. And that's the end of the list, so we can end it there, I guess. Have you ever cracked open a cold one with the boys? The vibes are on, then all of a sudden, you are out of cold ones? Though the vibes are still on, the vibes will soon go off because you are out of cold ones. There's no need to drive when you're under the vibes. That's why today's sponsor, Drizly, is here to make sure that the vibes continue. Drizly gets all your favorite beer, seltzer, wine, whiskey, and much more delivered directly to your home. With their easy-to-use mobile app, we are getting one step closer to never leaving our homes. You know it's saying something when it's being praised as the Amazon for liquor. Drizly is my go-to app for getting all the booze I need so I can do other things. So using our link in the description today, you can save $5 off your first purchase through Drizly. Drizly has proprietary ID verification technology that it provides to its retail partners that allows drivers to scan IDs for more than a barcode to make sure the purchaser is over 21 years old in the US and of legal drinking age in Canada. Retailers on Drizly may have a minimum order or delivery fee. So using our link in the description, get $5 off your first order with Drizly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. You're not a boomer who still goes to what our ancient civilizations called a store. You buy everything on the internet like a modern individual. What if I could tell you that you could be saving more on your purchases by only making a few clicks on your computer? That's where today's sponsor, Honey, will change your life. Honey is a free browser extension you can download using the link in our description of this episode. Honey searches the entire internet for promo code, coupon codes, free shipping, and anything else that will save you money when buying things online. It's 100% free, and at no point will you have to pay for it with all of those many microtransactions. It's as simple as pressing a single button and you can start saving money. Not using Honey is basically throwing money away that could be saved for more important things. I recently had to get business cards for myself, and Honey literally saved me 60% on a pack of 500 business cards. It was amazing. Add the Honey extension to your browser today for free by using the link in our description of this episode. And when you use our links, you directly support this show.
Oh no! Our table!
It's time for Oh No, Our Table, or formerly known as Ask Schweezy. This is the part of the podcast where I answer your questions that you ask that I answer. And that's how it's going, and that's the order we're doing it in. So,
I identify as a fucking threat.
let's just get into our first question. What's wrong with incest between consenting adults? All right. That's where we're at right now. What's wrong? Okay. All right, and I'll answer it. Technically, there's nothing wrong with incest between consenting adults. Now, they just want to fuck each other, and they both, consent to it. Then you know what? I agree that, it should be fine. I'm not into it, so I can't really answer. I don't have any. I have like two girl actually, if in like my generation, there were only two, like of family members. So, no to both of them. I feel like, yeah. So that's
You bet I'm coming up in May.
yeah, you better believe I'm coming up in May. So yeah, there's nothing wrong. Now the problems we get into is actual breeding. You didn't think we were going to get into this today. You might be wrong. So the breeding, the breeding's the bad part, and it's known to have multiple health problems. You know, when it comes to sex, you know, fuck anyone that's consensual. But also adults to chill. Oh, if we're talking about like siblings and cousins, I feel like that's okay. Like, you know, in your age group, it's just sex. It's fun. Just need to not breed with each other. If it's like a parental or like an aunt or an uncle type of figure, you know, it's got to be a no there too. Like, that's wrong. So we clearly know that. So if you're talking about just like cousins and siblings, you know, yeah, that's fine. I think anywhere outside of like siblings and cousins, because siblings and cousins in your age group are the only thing that's that's accessible. No, that's acceptable. There, what the fuck was I spying on? Acceptable. I think that answers the question. I'm glad I mentally got to that point.
You bet I'm coming up in May.
It came up in May. I did. Shut the fuck up. Would you ever date a 6'1" woman? I have been ghosted / blacked multiple times after revealing that I am 6'1". Is it really that big of a problem? All right. So I'm not like the tallest guy. My height starts with a 5. Sorry if that disappoints you.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But yeah, 6. I mean, like, I don't mind if a woman's taller than me dating. It's usually more her problem. That's more of her problem, not. It's usually not my problem. It's usually her problem. I don't really care. I want to be carried around like a little Grogu, and she's Din Djarin and carrying me across the galaxy and picking up bounties. Shit like that. Or she puts me on her back and I train her to be a Jedi like Master Yoda. What other? Johnny Bravo and I don't know. So that's not a problem. I don't know. That's what I mean. Some guys feel emasculated when a woman's taller than them. Those guys have had gay thoughts, and the thing is, they didn't like they had the gay thought, but they didn't hate the thought. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really hate it. That's why they were scared. That's why they didn't like it, because they did like it, so that makes them not like it. Math. That's right. That's math right there. Math is a wonderful thing. Dun, dun, dun. Math is a super cool thing. But yeah, so yeah, I feel like a lot of men feel emasculated, especially like a shorter guy who wants to be seen. You know, I don't think it's the actual number for women. I feel like they just want to feel like, I don't know, they want to feel a guy who carries tall. That's why I have been like, I don't know, I make sure like clothing wise I'm helping my height, not making it look bad, you know.
Let's go full throttle. This is the type of guy you get.
So, that makes sense to you, but yeah, some men feel, you know, emasculated, so they want a short woman. It's usually a woman problem that usually has the problem with it. There's some girls, I think, who get to 6'1", and you're like, you know what? I have to, like, lower some standards real quick, and I'm going to say he doesn't have to be taller than me. He could be my height. That'd be perfect. Maybe 5'11", you know, that's fine too. Like a couple inches isn't that big of a deal, but also like I feel like when there's a huge size gap, you know, that's pretty. I think the size gap like that scares me, you know. I feel sorry for those like small women, you know. We're all thinking it, you know. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but we all thought about it. And even if you're like, it's not acceptable, I'm like, but you still thought about it, okay? I'm like, you still thought about it. And also, sometimes you want to try out a girl taller than you, you know? It just happens. It's the way it is. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Sometimes it's real important to ride a horse bigger than you. What analogy am I making? Anyways, though, tall, thick ladies, hit me up. Hit up my DMs. That's where you can find me. The Amazonian women, hit up my DMs at TheSchweezy. For all things cool. Okay. Got here. Is manifestation real? I've always wondered this since everywhere I go on social media, people are always talking about how they manifested their careers using the law of attraction / assumption, blah blah. And at first I was starting to understand it, but then people start saying that if you think negatively, it manifests into your life, and that's when I entered a spiral of even more confusion. Also, when well-off people, especially celebrities, say they manifested opportunities into their life, I tend to think that, well, of course, you were able to manifest things into your life because you have the resources to attract these things into your life. Okay, so I do believe in manifestation. If I say, how many times am I gonna say manifestation wrong right now? I feel like there is some merit to manifestation. I don't think there's anything like cosmic or like mysterious or magic or whatever going on. Maybe, honestly, I'm not going to say it's not, but, I'm going to at least say it doesn't have to be. There's some, because I feel like the idea is saying, like, if you put something out there about yourself, like, even if you tell your friends and other people, I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this, and they'll help you, figure out, I don't know if you want to do this, but like if you're really passionate about it, a lot of times, like really, really passionate, and you put it out there into the world, it sometimes comes back to you because then someone hears one thing and then they are like, oh, I should tell him about that because he was telling me about that. So you have to put things out into the world to make it, but I don't know. Some people do it like magic and witchcraft, and it's not, magic is good, witchcraft is bad. Wizardry is good. Witchcraft is bad because it's associated with women. That's why it's bad. But yeah, no, you have to manifest things or put things out there into your world metaphorically, and I think doing that does help you turn it into a real thing. So I feel like you're just making slow steps in your life to make it become a real thing because you put it out there into the world, so we speak, and that's how you make it. So I think it's important. So I do think it's real. Do you think it's magic or not? Personally, no, but I'm not going to say completely no. If magic exists, I'm going to be like, oh, okay. I won't be surprised if there are like aliens exist. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm glad. Well, that's really cool. Are they cool, or like, are they cool, or are they going to start fighting us? Do we have to start fighting for ourselves? It's going to be like martial law like going on around here, Anyways, though, yeah, I think put your dreams out there into the world, everyone. As I say, put your dreams out into the world, and doing that with your dreams, it will be out in the world. Like your dreams, that will be put out into your world to be put out there into your world. Always and forever. Amen. How effective is online therapy? Is it just as effective as in-person therapy? If you have online therapy, what's your experience? Not sure if this counts as a medical question. Well, it doesn't have to count as a medical question because I'm not a medical professional. So, how effective is online therapy going? I'm doing that online therapy stuff. I do video chat though. I feel like if you're not going to do the video chat, you gotta. It's not like. I don't get when people do it like on a phone call. Like I'll just sit on the phone and talk. I'm like, I gotta look at this. I gotta look at the therapist too. Like, because they're judging me. It's more personal if you at least like, I feel like FaceTimes, we're getting to that point where they are kind of personal to do like, you don't FaceTime everyone, people you can FaceTime. And even then you could be like, all my best friends do not want me to FaceTime them ever. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Not all guys are FaceTime guys, Not everyone can have a FaceTime relationship. But we're talking about effective is online therapy. So I'm taking online therapy, and I feel like it's just as effective as going to someone's office and sitting there in their office and talking on, giving them a free podcast episode. Like every podcast episode's free, and stuff like that. So like I feel like that, but like I'm doing talk therapy. There's other types of therapies. I don't know all about. I probably should be the expert about it right now, but I am not. But yeah, no, I feel like it's talk therapy. I feel like having to look at the person and talk to look at your therapist and talk to them. Doing that, I feel, is the best way to do the therapy, and yeah, so. Yeah, so I feel like online therapy is good. Even also, sometimes even more beneficial if you prefer it that way as well. Like, I don't have to leave the house to do it, so it's like I could just roll out of bed and start therapy, And I think I have done that sometimes. So that's cool. That's cool stuff.
You bet
Cool
I'm
stuff,
coming up in May.
slick stuff, neat stuff.
In May. So that's cool. Effective is online therapy. So yeah, I think therapy online is effective. It just depends on how much work you want to put into it on there. But yeah, I think online therapy is a great tool. And over the pandemic, a lot of therapists had to do it that way. And and I think people realize, oh, you can do that. And I think a lot of therapists like that too, because they can just stay at home too, and they don't have to have someone try to get comfortable like in your home. Because I feel like when you make your home, like you make your own homes like comfortable for yourself, and like therapy in a place that's comfortable for you and comfortable for them. Unless you live in a bad place where you don't feel comfortable, then things can get gone. But even in like a bad, like if you live in a bad like apartment with someone or whatever, with a bad like environment, around you, but like you can still have your little room of peace, little peace and love, never hurt anyone. So. Sipping sounds. ASMR sipping sounds. Sounds that you will like. Alright, no more ASMR. I'm not gonna give that shit away. I could do an OnlyFans of ASMR. I'd be bitching if you wanted a koala bear type. I'm a bear, but I'm like a koala bear. Like, that's the best way to describe me. Alright. Why would anyone be against legalizing marijuana? I don't even drink, let alone smoke marijuana. I'm for legalization because the war on drugs has never been about stopping drug use, but it's reversing the civil rights gains and keeping Latin American destabilized and subordinated to U.S. hegemony. We're not trying that again. But I'm surprised to find that there's people opposed to its legalization. Why don't they care to or not want it to? Why do they care to or not want it to? Okay. I learned how to read. So, be against legalizing marijuana. So, according to my mother, who recently voted in an election, and I guarantee she voted no to legalizing weed in Missouri. So I guarantee she voted no. Even I told her, I'm like, but like I think with Missouri, they were gonna, release a bunch of like non-violent drug charges, that involved weed. I like a lot of those people. I personally like. It's good for that. It's again, the war on drugs is bad. It's good for that. I told her that. I guarantee it went out one ear out the other. It's like this neighborhood's just gotten so bad since the weed's gotten in here. So yeah, why would people be against it? One, they're uneducated on weed. That weed's actually not that bad. Because sometimes people haven't tried it, and even people like I'm even noticing a lot of like family members who have even tried it. They're like, I would never do it, but like it's okay to be legalized or whatever. Some people want to do it, A lot of people are that way. Like why people are still against it. The war on drugs, that education campaign, it was a lot. Like I remember like years, like we had like so much, and they talked about weed like it was like the seventh heaven, Pastor Diddler, just like, weed, I can't believe you smoked weed and brought weed into my home. It's just Christian kids and gangs. That's all it was back then. But yeah, so I think, the war on drugs, that education program they made for that was heavy, like, on how bad drugs were. Like, even now, I'm like, I don't want to try, like, meth, like, especially the ones that, like, I know trashy people smoke. I'm like, I don't want to smoke that. I'm done. I'm not gonna smoke that. So yeah, and I think a lot of people who I've been educated on the war on drugs like it because it helps keep black people in jail. So that's the whole point too. So a lot of racism, a lot of poor education, a lot of religious people want to be against it. I think my mom doesn't want it because I don't want people driving on weed. I'm like, people don't drive on weed. They sit on the couch and watch TV. Like, that's what they do. That's what they do on weed. That's all they do. So legalizing weed, white people are against it. Racism, poor education, and they're in a cult called Christianity probably too. So those are the big three. So that's what's going on and what it is. Alright, should I feel bad for leaving a company without notice if they tend to fire people without notice? I was recently offered a job and was thinking about putting in my 2 weeks when I heard that one of my coworkers was fired without so much as a warning. He made too many mistakes and so they fired him. Now, I know that companies have the right to fire anyone. Okay, that's not true. Whenever and for whatever reason they want to. No, there's some laws there. We also have the right to just leave without notice, but to me, it says a lot about a workplace if they fire you for too many mistakes without even trying to correct you on any of them. I'm leaving this job because it is destroying my back, tire and lube technician, and I'm just not making enough money. I'm not leaving because of the firing issue, but the issue has definitely pushed me towards not giving a notice. Also, my back is telling me to not go into work today. LOL. So yeah. Realistically, like, a company will fire you, like, out of nowhere. They won't give you, like, 2 more weeks to work somewhere. They will just give you, like, oh, you're effective immediately, you're fired, and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. But they expect you to put in 2 weeks notice. Like, there's no rule that you even have to do a 2-week notice when they could just fire you. So the 2-week notice is just politeness on your behalf to the company, in case you want, like, a reference from them one day or whatever. You just, like, leave on good terms. That's the reason why someone would do it. But if you don't give a shit about leaving on good terms, like, buddy, go for it. Like, if they fire you, you didn't leave on good terms. So, yeah, if you don't care about leaving on good terms, yeah, just do that. Or you could also just try to get fired in those 2 weeks and or whatever. And that, but it could be a dumb enough company that they'll fire you when you put in your 2-week notice, and then you can get just go into it and get unemployment for 2 weeks. Just do that, and it comes out of, I think it comes out of that company because of that. I think with how an unemployment works or whatever, or and something may have severance too. You try getting fired. You ever tried that? You ever tried that? I don't know. So anyway, yeah, you have no obligation at all to tell a company. And I think about that. I tell everybody with their jobs today, you don't have to leave a 2-week notice. If it's a bad environment and that's why you're leaving, just leave without notice. Just ghost them, let things go, especially let them text you back or whatever, or start some shit. If I was going to put it in I would put in my 2-week notice and see if they would, usually in the 2-week notice too, because, like, a lot of times, like, the job you have, like, you don't mind working there, like, you just need a better paying job, and that better paying job came out there, so you have to, then you do price negotiation, and then you negotiate up, and if you can, you do. If you can't, you move on, because it's not that big of a deal. And you can still give them 2 weeks and piss them off enough. And also putting in 2 weeks, I heard one guy, like, the Septic Life or whatever guy on TikTok, he says if someone putting in a 2-week notice, he just says, like, take the 2 weeks off because, like, you're going to be useless in those 2 weeks, and you'd rather just pay them for nothing than like a bad job or whatever. Like, I don't know. So, there's pros and cons, but you don't owe the man nothing, my man. You don't owe them anything, so you don't have to do anything, eh? You know, man? I'll tell you what, man. Just go on, do that for me. Okay. Yeah, no. So, and yeah, if you don't care about your job, who gives a shit, you know? Do what you want. God is dead. Do what you want to. God's not dead. Left us in a hot car. All right, we already at the last question of the day. Okay. All right. Why are conservatives so triggered by pride? Okay. So it's not even they're scared of gay people. Are they gay? Are conservatives afraid of gay people? We're coming up. Some of them, yes. The answer is some of them, yes. Some of them are. Some of them aren't, but they don't like pride either. You know, they're not for it either. So I would say, and I'm going to assume when you say triggered by pride, I assume you're going to mean the gays and the lesbians and the bisexuals, especially the ones with the baristas with the colored hair. Those bisexuals, it's a type, yeah. It's like, I'm a bisexual, but I'm also like, I'm a barista bisexual, which means like your hair either comes in blue, green, usually blue, blue, like your hair naturally comes in blue, a blue head, you know. And those are the bisexuals. But I think what they're really mad about, what I'm gonna say, them hoagies, what they're really mad about, I think it's like a cultural shift for them, because the whole like nuclear family, like they grew up on just like all man and woman, they marry each other and they have a family, and the kids grow up and go college and get a job. I'm talking with an accent. Get a job and have a family, and they get grandkids, and that's what they're used to. And I feel like the idea of gay people really is pushing that idea away of what you think is normal isn't necessarily going to be the norm anymore, because things change. And I think a lot of people, I don't know why the 1950s and 60s were glamorized. Like, obviously I feel like the fashion, like how things were decorated, music, that stuff can, like, art can be saved, because that's what I'm into. But a lot of cultural things, like cultural things that are cultural in the 1960s, cultural things are not that cool. I think when you're thinking about like trends and like fashion and stuff like that, I think that's what you think about when you think of the good stuff. Then there's the bad part with the nuclear family, like the husband and wife, and maybe like a brother and a sister too, like that, and people scare them because they think it's so weird to them that like two men are doing what they're doing, but it's like, but I fuck my wife in her holes. Do they fuck each other in their holes? And it's just so many questions. And so it's like their cultures shouldn't last long. They should be getting better. One day I won't be woke anymore, and that'll be the day. That'll be a day like no cloning. Like I'm gonna be like, you know what? I don't think you should have sex with robots. Okay. It's just me. I don't think robots, I know they have consciousness now, but I don't know if we should be fucking them, That'll be me one day. Yeah, I think it's just different from what they want or what they're used to, and, I think there's like a time in our life back in my day, and you think about that as like the good old days, and, you can't relive the good old days. Life won't let you do that. And if you think you can, pop goes the weasel. And so, culture's going to change. Things are going to change. And I think that nuclear family for them, and, man loving a man and it being in the Bible is just going away, and it scares people. And love is love, people. You know what? Love is love, and I'm here to say that. And let's ban the Bible. Let's ban that hate book because it's just hate speech at this point. And I don't like that.
I identify as a fucking threat.
Well, that's that.
Oh my gosh, so deep. I fucking love it.
A very deep thought indeed. Indeed today. So no hate, no discriminate. No hate, no discriminate. Don't discriminate or whatever. So cool shit. With all that being said, thank you for checking out this episode of Cancel Schweezy, better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. Make sure you're following me over on social media at TheSchweezy, my music under Schweezy as well, wherever you stream music, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy, where I will be playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, Legend of Zelda. And if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook and other places, you'll know when I go live or on Twitch play Tears of the Kingdom. It's a fucking good game, dude. And Patreon page, great way to say thank you for being a friend. So don't forget you can financially support the show on Patreon as well. And don't forget to do the free shit, like I said, the free shit including the subscribe button over on YouTube, the subscribe button where you listen to your podcast. But we do want you on YouTube. We're trying to build up the YouTube platform. So make sure you're subscribing over there and sharing our highlights over there on the YouTubes. And on the audio platforms, leave a review and give a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating. So honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome. Believe it or not, Schweg isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. You just finished a full episode of Cancel Schweezy. You are now one of the smartest individuals who will ever exist in our world. If you like that episode, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're watching this show or listening to the show, make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified whenever we release full new episodes as well. And if you're on YouTube, smash that bell button. That way you get notified anytime we make a post over here on YouTube. Honk if you love butt drugs, and yeah, stay awesome.